All right, guys, here we are, open flames. I'm going to teach you a little bit about how to use this bad boy. This is a Weber kettle grill, right? You can actually find these a lot of times now at Goodwills. People just don't like using them. Why? Because they take a little bit of extra work. They're not simple like propane where you turn it on, light it, boom, you got fire, and you've got probably heat that you can cook on within a couple minutes. This takes a little more time. You gotta get your charcoal lit, you gotta get your charcoal warm. And yes, we are filming this in my front yard, and that's my Suburban, yep, that's it. This is like a tailgater, right? So we're gonna set this thing up. So I got my son here to help me, and we're gonna get things going. First thing I want you to notice is we got our kettle grill right here, okay? Next thing down there, we've got some lighter fluid. You'll want that, that's one of the methods, or you can do it with a charcoal chimney. I've got that too. We'll show you both methods, show you how that works. Got a bag of charcoal. I got a cheap one down at Aldi. Again, I keep it simple when I'm just learning how to do things like this. The more you get into this, the better you get with it. The higher quality briquettes you can get. It does improve taste. It does make things different. All right, I also have a good quality lighter right here. Yes, I already checked it. It lights. We've got a good long distance on that one too, okay? So a couple things I want to show you. First off, on my kettle grill, this part down here, this is an ash pan, okay? Because inside the kettle grill are some vent holes. Right, there are actually 3 sets of vent holes. Okay, one of those vent holes is right here, and you can probably see me messing around with it. Now it's wide open, now it's closed. That's one of the vent holes. When you're first starting, you want these things open, right? But you don't want these so you can tap these things shut if you want to kind of control the temperature a little bit, okay? So mine's moving pretty well right there. There's a second vent hole over here. See, I just got it moving. So just see my finger poking up through there, right? Second vent hole, it's closed, now it's open. The third vent hole on mine is actually rusted open. It's over here. I can't quite get the thing open anymore or closed anymore, but it's down over here, and this one actually is kind of locked open for me. So I leave that one locked open anyway to start. It's okay. All right. Next thing you've got your grilling surface. That's this in the top. Okay. Hasn't been used in a while. I need some heat to get things cleaned off. Before we cook on it, we will clean it off. I'll pull that off. Okay. Next thing, you got the second rack in here. This rack is for your charcoal briquettes to sit on, okay? You want that because you want the charcoal to be sitting up off of the bottom so that the air comes through and helps provide fuel to help keep your fire burning, okay? So first things first, I'm gonna ask Malachi to help me out, and he's gonna grab a handful of charcoal briquettes from here. Yes, this will make your hands black and dirty, but hey, he's a 10-year-old boy. He likes black and dirty, okay? So he is going to go ahead and put a few of these in the bottom. Okay, good enough, Malachi. We're just gonna do 2 methods first. First things first, when you light charcoal, you want to keep them close together, and you want to kind of build yourself a little tower. All right, so build yourself a little tower in the center, okay? Stack them up a little bit. You want to kind of keep that heat, maintain that heat as these things get lit, okay? All right, now what we do is we take our lighter fluid. All right, lighter fluid is highly flammable. Do not have the lighter out and ready and playing with it right now, okay? Hold this a minute, okay? 2 of my briquettes kind of fell and rolled off. Put those back up here. At this point, this charcoal is basic charcoal. It does not have lighter fluid built onto it. In fact, I prefer this kind. This kind of has the lighter fluid built into it. Sometimes doesn't stay lit very well. It depends how old and how new you have it, okay? So I'm gonna take our lighter fluid. We're gonna pour a little bit of lighter fluid on top of this. Okay, that was pretty generous. All right, now as the lighter fluid sits there, some of the gases are coming off of it right now, and those will light pretty easily. So you take your lighting tool and you kind of keep it far away from something that's light. Okay, and then where it's wet, start putting that flame on. All right, and you've got some charcoal briquettes that are starting to warm up. These won't be able to cook on for 10, 15, maybe even 20 minutes. You don't want to cook on these until you've got those things burning pretty good. They'll be white around the edges, turning whiter towards the center, and then we'll spread them out and cook on them. But that's not nearly enough to cook on, so I want to show you a second method on how to do your charcoal briquettes, okay? So here we go. Since that one's already lit, I'm actually going to put the grilling surface back on this for a minute. I will remove that later, but here's what we're going to do next. I'm going to take my charcoal chimney here, okay? Notice that if you look inside the charcoal chimney, there's this little spot on the inside. It's indented upwards, okay? That's the bottom of the charcoal chimney. It also has slats like that, right? That's to allow the air to get through this. What we're going to do is take some paper, perhaps the best stuff to use is like a dried up newspaper, and you're crumple up 3, 4, 5, 6 good little pieces of paper and crumple them in the bottom. All right, but then in the top of this, you load your charcoal, okay? So I'm gonna have my son go ahead and load this thing with charcoal in a minute. Go ahead there, son. We're gonna be cooking some burgers on this. They don't take terribly long, but we need a good hot fire. So we're gonna need a good lot of charcoal here. Go ahead and keep filling that up. Fill it up so it's about halfway full of charcoal there, son. Okay, we're also gonna need some paper. So now's a good time to get some paper. While he's filling that out, I'm gonna run inside and get some paper. Okay, I've got some ready for you. I found some of my old calculus paper. And so we're gonna take some of these guys. Oh yeah, look at that, slope fields. They're gonna make a wonderful starter. So we're gonna take this. Oh, and now look at this side, SAT prep. Woo! Saved it just for this occasion. All right, did you get that fill up there, Malachi? Okay, next thing I want you to do is I want to take a couple of these papers and I want you to crumple them into a ball. No, take them separately and crumple them up. We want lots of surface area. Yeah, so take one of those, just like this, crumple it up. And kind of a, it doesn't be super stiff or a super small ball, but that'll work nicely, okay? And let's get 3 or 4 of those going. Okay, got them? All right, now that's gonna become what we're gonna light in the bottom of this, okay? Now here's what I want you to do. I want you to take it and put it up and down that cool side right there.
This?
Yep. And we're gonna take this and we're gonna put it right over top of that paper, okay? Because right now, that paper is right in the bottom, like so. And what you do now is light the paper. This method usually doesn't take any lighter fluid. Your paper itself, the oxygen is going up against that paper, and that paper is being fueled by air. So as the flame is hitting that, it's causing our charcoal to start smoking. See the smoke rising out of there? That's the paper burning off. And as that heat hits all that little paper that's in the bottom, what we're gonna find is our charcoal, the flames are gonna start lighting up the insides of this charcoal chimney. And what we're gonna find is the charcoal will start to light up for us. Okay, so usually what I do, see how you start to see the flames down there in the bottom? Okay, so as those flames start to burn, oh yeah, we're starting to see them right there. It's gonna hit our charcoal just fine, and we'll check back on this. Now it actually turns out that charcoal that's in the chimney like this is being fueled very, very well right now by the oxygen in the air underneath it. So this will take a little less time than our traditional charcoal pyramid that's down in the bottom there, okay? But we're gonna do a little bit of both. Once these guys are ready, should be 5-10 minutes, we'll check back in. I'll post a couple pictures, and then when we're just about ready to cook, we'll do some burgers on this charcoal grill. All right guys, it's time to make some burgers, and unfortunately right now due to the coronavirus, there's not a lot of beef that's processed and in the stores, but you can still get what's called a beef chub, like this guy right here. This is 3 pounds of beef. I got it in the frozen section, but one thing you want to pay attention to when you buy beef is the fat content. So I bought this beef. This beef actually right here, it says 73% lean, 27% fat. This is a pretty fatty beef. All right, most of the time when you're making a really good burger, people like to use 85-15 or 80-20. All right, those are pretty good. I usually don't like to go any lower than 80-20, but since we're making burgers for the first time, we'll use this. Now the reason why is fat, when it gets warm, liquefies. And when fat liquefies, it drips down and creates major flames. All right, and sometimes those major flames can char your burger before it's actually done. And then you get like this burnt tasting burger that's not done on the inside. So just be a little careful with this. Oftentimes what will happen too is when you're using a high fat content beef, is you start with a patty that you think is about 1/4 pound. By the time you're done cooking it, it's lost all that fat out, and it becomes this tiny little burger on a big whole bun. So sometimes to avoid that, what I do is I'll take a higher fat content beef like this, and we'll make bigger patties. So right now, this is 3 pounds. So it tells us right here 3 pounds. So if you want to make 1/4 pounds, 3 times 4 of those, you can make 12 burgers out of this. But because we're going to make them a little bit bigger, I would recommend making them 1/3 pound burgers. So I'd make 9 or 10 burgers out of this, all right? Because we're gonna cook down pretty far. So I think we're gonna stick around 9 on this guy right now, and my son's gonna help me out. So we're gonna break into this. This is a piece of tin foil right here on the ready. Now the reason I have tin foil on the ready is I'm gonna turn these into patties, and it'll be easier to cut the tin foil out, then hold on to the patty, and then slap them down on top of our grill when we're ready. So, son, will you get that open for us, please? Okay, hold up. Okay. There you go. When you're using the knife, you want to make sure you're cutting away from your hands, right? And we're just trying to cut it open and get through there, okay? So here we go. All right, go ahead and peel that out. Peel that back. Just peel the wrapper back. Whoop. Okay, there we go. A little bit extra right there. We'll get that, put it pounded into one, I'm sure, okay? Son, if you would, throw that away, please. Okay. Now, I said we're gonna make about 9 or 10 of these. So if we're making 9 or 10, usually I have to do is split it up ahead of time so you know what you're dealing with, okay? So cutting things into 9s are not super easy, all right? But you can probably make this work if you think about 10 instead and split this up so you have it right down the middle and then put 5 on one side and 5 on the other. So we're gonna try to do that. We're gonna split this pretty evenly down the middle. Now I had to let this thaw in my fridge for a while, so it's not frozen anymore. And then from there, we're gonna split things kind of into 5s. So we'll do 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, okay? And then right down here, 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. All right, and then that's kind of our starting point, okay? So then what we're gonna do is I'm gonna show you how to make one of these, and then we'll make the rest of those, okay? So we're gonna take this burger, and right now this is ground pretty well. You can tell this burger is probably been ground a couple times to make it nice and tender, but what we're gonna do is kind of push this together to make ourselves a ball real quick, okay? Will you hold this, Malachi, so you can show my hands? Okay, so we're gonna make this into a ball like this. Okay, and then what we're gonna do is take this ball, which is roughly the size, I'd say, of a tennis ball. Okay, then you know you're doing all right. We're gonna put that down in paper, and then we're gonna push this thing down. Right, now we're gonna push it down so that you leave it about a ½ inch thick along the sides. Now one trick when you're grilling, okay, is to actually leave an indent on the inside of your burger. Oftentimes what happens is if you don't put this indent in, is the thing will shrink up and then bubble up in the center. So you get this burger that looks like a big ball rather than a flat one. So since we're getting a flat one going on right here, what we're gonna do is push the inside in a little bit so that it's actually thinner on the inside than it is around the edges. All right, and then you got yourself a pretty good looking beef patty. At this point, salt and pepper it. I like to use a little seasoned salt and a little bit of black pepper. That's a good way to go. My family also likes it when I use steak seasoning, so I buy like a real cheap steak seasoning that literally is called steak seasoning. You can get the fancy stuff like Montreal steak or Chicago style steak, but you sprinkle that on top of this. I season once, and then when it's ready to flip, I season the other side with a little bit of just salt and pepper or a little more of the steak seasoning. But that's really all it takes. That's all you want to handle it too. If you overhandle it, you're going to find that it's going to get a little tough on you. And we don't want that one either. Or if it gets too warm, the beef will actually start to fall apart a little bit too. All right, so we're going to turn the rest of these into beef burgers, and then we'll be ready to check to see if our charcoal is ready. All right, so it's been about 10 minutes, maybe 15 minutes, and we're back to check on our charcoal chimney, and you can see we've got a nice flame come out the top of that bad boy right there. And if you look inside of it, okay, you can see that we're starting to get some white down there in the bottom. That's good, we want that. We don't want them to be all whited out, but this is good. The fire's going well. We got some good heat coming off of this right now. I feel pretty confident these are gonna stay lit, so we can probably use these. So what we're gonna do is twofold here. What I'm gonna do is have Malachi take this over a minute, take over this. Okay, and I'm gonna watch what I'm gonna do. This part here is gonna be okay to touch. This part here is gonna be okay to touch too right now because it's not hot. But if it were, you could use something like this. All right, so some of my paper there. Okay. And what we're gonna do is dump these now into the bottom of our grill. Okay. All right, and now the point of this is you want to also arrange it a little bit. And sometimes we'll use this thing that's already a little bit warm. And I'll spread these out. Now there are different arrangements you can do for charcoal. Since we want kind of an equal grill everywhere, kind of warm, hot grill everywhere, we're going to do that. But if you can also arrange these so they're all on one side, so you have a more hotter spot and a spot that's not so hot, you can have a spot so that it's all ringed around the outside, so you got outside heat, but the inside's a little bit less. We want an equal, even heat, so that's going to be good to go. So that's ready. We're going to place this back on top. Okay. We're going to let our grill heat up a little bit here for a second. So I'm going to place the lid on top. Okay, we got the vent open up here, ready to go, so everything's venting and hot. We'll come back with our burgers and we'll get things started. All right, here we are, back to it. We're ready to go, and so we've got our burgers made. See how they're on their little foil packets like this too? The reason is now they're easy to pick up and put on. So I'm gonna pick up one of my foil packs like so. I'm gonna flop my burger down. Now remember, these things when they start cooking are gonna start flaming up pretty hardcore. You may have to do them in batches, and that's okay too, okay? But I'm gonna put all mine on, as many as I can get on, okay? Got a slightly larger grill, we'll put some more on, but that'll be enough for now. And we're gonna put the lid back on, and what you're gonna see in a couple of minutes is they're gonna be gray around the edges, and you'll start seeing some of the red from the blood come up on the outside parts. At that point, they'll be ready to flip when they're gray around the edges. So don't go away, we're gonna stay with these guys, but I'm gonna cover these up. All right, go ahead and close them. All right, so this is what we came back out to where we left off. You see how it's smoking really good? What we have right now is fat from the burger is dripping down into the charcoal that is already lit. So when you watch, you're gonna see some flames already cooking out of this thing, right? So here we go. All right, see how the flames are kind of starting to get to the burgers? See how they're shooting up? They shoot up like that when the grease drips down there. Also notice a couple of things. You see how the color of this is changing? This is more grayish brown. And see how we're getting some blood pulling up in the center like that? Okay, that's good. That means we're almost ready for flipping, okay? So I've got my flip ready to go. See what happened when I flipped it though? That grease wanted to pour right into the charcoal, right? So when you flip these, be careful. Okay, there's 3 of them. If things get too fiery like they are right now, there's too much oxygen in this, right? You gotta cut some of the oxygen out. Remember, we can shut those vents in the bottom, okay? Okay, and if you lid this, all right, that cuts some of the oxygen to it as well, and we can actually turn this vent like so, okay? And we'll check back on these in like 3 or 4 more minutes, and we'll be all set with them. So it's been about 2 more minutes. We're gonna check on these guys, see how they're doing. Okay, see how we caught the flame down a little bit? That's good. All right, so these are pre-seasoned, ready to go. Oops. Good catch. Good catch. All right, excellent. In the meantime, I put on a piece of chicken for my lovely wife who doesn't like beef as much. And you can tell that some of the smoke from the grease in the burgers has actually caused the chicken to get a little bit darker looking in color. But the chicken's doing fine too. We'll come back and we'll talk about how to grill chicken next time, but I have that on a little less direct heat right now because I don't want it to overcook. All right, but it looks like these burgers are looking pretty good. There's a little bit of clear coming through the insides. I think these guys are ready, and we don't want to overcook them, so we're gonna pull them off. Sometimes what we like to do is put a little cheese on them, melt them as they come. We're gonna do that on our second batch. We're gonna leave these cheeseless for those in my family who don't want cheese, okay? We're gonna pull these off. I would let them rest for a couple minutes, okay, 1 or 2 minutes, maybe 5 minutes, and then you'll be ready to eat these, okay? These look pretty tasty, okay? Okay, check them out in the pan. Right, so you've got the juice running clear right there. That's excellent. That means that we're done there, and these are probably more on the line of medium, okay, which is safe for you guys to eat. As you get a little better at this, and you start cooking a little bit more higher quality meat, you're gonna find like these a little bit better, a little bit medium. Well, people like in the restaurant want to do medium or medium well. You might want to have yours a little medium or a little medium rare, a little red in the center. But these look pretty good. All right, and so we're gonna do round 2 of these guys, and I'll finish my job cooking. But these are tasty. I hope you enjoy them. Good luck in your grilling.